in high school, I had a big crush on my friend's big brother. She had told me that he was obsessed with the Transformers movie, like the Megan Fox, Shia LaBeouf one. So I did not watch the movie. That wasn't my strategy. I found a shirt that had a Transformers thing on it. And the only time him and I really saw each other was when I had gym class. He had maybe gym as well, but we would see each other outside. And so I wore this Transformers shirt for gym every day. And then I stopped wearing it at some point because I found out this other guy that I also sort of had a crush on started calling me Transformer Girl. And I'm like, I haven't even seen the movie. I'm working on something else right now. And then now I'm getting lumped into this whole other thing. And so, yeah, I didn't hook up with either of them. It was a bit of a flop of a project.
Khalyla.
Yes.
Skims.
This is my Skims voice.
Hey, Skims. You guys can shop the SKIMS T-Shirt Shop at skims.com. Now available in sizes extra, extra small to 4X. And if you haven't yet, be sure to let them know we sent you. After you place your order, select podcast in the survey and select our show in the drop-down menu that follows. Skims. Are you targeting this question at Sophie because of...
I'm targeting this question at our producer, Stella.
You like what you see? Do you want a cup?
I would be intimidated. Like, I think I actually could. Go ahead. What were you saying about Stella?
How would you approach?
How would you approach Esther? Well, I know Esther's approach already.
Do you? What would you do?
You offer yours up first.
Okay, we don't have to bring that. I'm a mom now. It doesn't have to come up every week that we record the show.
I mean, I don't know the history.
It's just, let's just move on. What about Stella? Let's make this about Stella today.
But now I'm left out. What's the history of your boobs?
I just showed her my boobs and was like, oh, will you show me yours? And I think she said no. Was the first...
I did say no. And that's because I hated my implants at that time.
Oh, okay. So
you had your implants then?
It was insecurity related. It wasn't because of you.
Thank you. Wow, that was really maternal of you to point that out.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
I had...
I do have heaving motherly breasts.
So Stella and I had a titty moment where she was like, wow, your boobs. And I was like, here, touch them. Mm-hmm. Touch them.
Yeah.
And she didn't know where to place her hands.
The thing is, I understand that because I'm not shy. I'm not a shy person. I'm a comedian. I have lots of like really sexy, dirty jokes. But I do feel like if a cool hottie was like, no, touch them, I would blush.
What if it was someone not cool?
Then I'd be like, sure. Do a little potato pancake.
Because I feel like that's very like bathroom, like bar bathroom girl talk.
Bar bathroom. I was thinking like high school change room after gym.
Yeah.
Esther, can't relate.
What do you mean? Of course I can relate. I just, I'm so different now that this conversation, I guess, I can't relate anymore.
It's true, you're Christian now.
Yeah, I know. I am like religious now.
You love the Lord, of course.
Wait, we have to introduce our guest because she is the funniest stand-up comedian working right now.
Stop.
I discovered you. No,
you did.
But when I did discover you at the Improv, I feel like you came out of nowhere, and I was like, "Who is this girl? She's so funny." And then I found out you had just moved from Canada. I think yes. And can we say your job?
Yeah.
She's the monologue writer on After Midnight, which is like the funniest show. We're fans. I was on it. You weren't there yet, but next time. And she's a hilarious stand-up, Sophie Buddle.
Thank you.
Canadian person.
Thank you. You're so funny. I didn't realize that you discovered me.
Yeah, no, now you know.
I'm excited.
Now you know. It's actually so
That's really
cool.
hard, right, to figure out your paperwork and immigration status.
Yeah, do you know some Canadians? It's like so expensive. I have to renew my visa right now, and it's just like it's just, you know that it's coming, but it's still just a surprise huge amount of money.
Really?
Oh my God, so expensive.
It was like 15 grand originally.
You had to pay that to come here?
Yes, and it was 15 grand US, so that's like closer to 20 grand Canadian, which is like so unfair. Mm-hmm. And then now just to renew it, it's going to be more than 5 grand to go again.
For how often do you have
The
to?
amount of nose jobs I could have gotten if I was born in America.
I can't.
This is what being immigrant is like.
I
This is
can't
the
believe
face
they
of immigration.
charge you for that to come here.
I
What
know.
a ripoff.
It is a ripoff.
It is-
Thank you.
You have to have a big show of money is why. Like my niece, my family's from the Philippines, and to even
I have a Filipina aunt and
oh, you
cousins
do?
and 2 cousins.
Are they your
yeah.
favorite?
Yeah. I'm always trying to impress them because they're teens, they're my Filipino teen cousins. And I'm always like offering to buy them drugs and stuff. And they're Gen Z, so they don't want that. And there's only so many times that you can offer before you're like pushing it on them.
What kind of drugs are you offering?
Whatever they want. And they don't want any.
that.
No.
No, the Gen Z kids are really, really
They're
on
really
a
straight
and
edge.
narrow,
Yeah.
Oh, I love, as a mother, I love to hear that.
So wholesome, like the candy shops.
Your
the
baby's not doing drugs either.
No, she's sober. She's extremely sober.
Wow, that's cool. She's in the program.
Yeah.
So you offer them drugs, but they're saying no. So like, what? I hate being not useful to a Gen Z kid.
I know. It's just like so hard to figure out how to be cool to them. Because when we were teenagers, like if somebody offered me drugs, I'd be like, oh, this is the coolest adult
Right.
ever. I got into some trouble, but
What drugs were you doing?
I would do any drug in high school.
Are you serious?
I was doing comedy though. And so comedians do drugs and then you do it as well.
in high school?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, because you started going to comedy clubs really
I was
young
14.
with your mom, right?
Yeah.
So like alcohol became like a part of your life probably really
I
early
was
on at the
really
club.
a heavy party girl when I was a teenager. And then now I just kind of socially, I don't really do anything now. I'll do mushrooms like once a year with my girls, but
I feel like mushrooms is in its own lane. And
I disagree now.
why? Tell me.
I don't know. I've just decided that I'm like fully going completely sober.
you and your daughter.
Yeah.
Can I tell you a fun fact I heard about Chinese postpartum?
Yes.
They have this new study where they give moms ketamine very soon after they give birth. And apparently they're seeing extremely positive results to prevent postpartum.
I don't know. We've seen ketamine being used.
You're right.
Once a drug, like I hear about it recreationally, I start to like, I don't know.
So for you, it's very important the first time you hear about
It
it.
has to be from a doctor. So it's like, yeah, I'll take Oxycontin.
Have you done drugs before?
I had like a 2-year stint on marijuana, and then I got pregnant, and then I had to quit, and then now I'm like, I went through the 9-month detox, and I came out on the other side, and I'm like, I'm good.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So you did 2 years of pot, which led to your pregnancy.
Yes,
And so
that's
you
true.
spiraled out of
I wasn't
control.
in the best
You were having unprotected sex. It
Yeah.
does sound like drugs don't suit you well.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to be more careful.
Thank you for the advice. Wait, but okay. So you started stand up when you were a teen with your mom. Are you and your mom are very close?
Yes,
I
we're very
hear-
close. Yeah. Are you close with your mom?
I guess I am. Yeah.
Are you close with your mom?
Yeah, but her and I have a similar. So we both have almond moms. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Almond/vacuum moms.
Almond vacuum moms. A little bit emotionally rigid.
Yeah.
But
They're a
we're
product of their time.
right.
Yeah.
It's how they show love in ways like we can't. It's hard for me to understand or receive, but we are really super close, but there is a toxicity there for sure.
Well,
What about
yeah,
you?
when they're doing stuff that to them is showing you love and then you're not receiving it, I think it's their role as a parent to like find a way to make you feel loved in your love language or whatever you want to call it.
They would never understand what a love language was. Like I've told her time and time again, and she's just like,
What does she do or what does she do as a job?
she was a hospice nurse. So she put
Oh,
people
so hard
down.
worker.
Yeah. She said bye.
She doesn't lift them up. She puts them
Yeah,
down.
she puts them down. Back to the earth.
Was
they
she
go.
really good at like bedtime?
Like just giving her IV of like tranquilizer.
No, but she was really like a sought after hospice nurse to like the stars. Like,
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I could name some names, but I think that's HIPAA.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, and but it was taking a toll. No, I'll tell you why she quit hospice nursing. She didn't like driving in the dark through the hills into expensive people's homes. And so she was like, I can't do it. I have anxiety when I drive. But yeah, that's the reason she quit.
But she like killed famous people.
She killed famous people, yeah.
Wow, Michael Jackson.
close adjacent.
Oh my God.
What?
We need to find out.
I mean, if he hadn't been killed by his own doctor, she would definitely would have killed him.
Wow, that is so cool. And so, okay, almond mom to me, I assume like eating disorder vibes or no?
Over exercising vibes for me.
Over
And, like,
exercising.
over how do you say when someone a helicopter mom, like watching what you eat, making sure you have a certain physique at all
And
times.
so, what is your relationship with food now?
really terrible?
Terrible, yeah.
Yo-yo, up and down I go.
Did you ever do Ozempic?
I've never. I probably actually no. I shouldn't say I'll never do it, but I haven't yet. Have you?
Okay, I acquired some in Canada. And so with all of my medication, I have ADHD meds too. And it's so much cheaper in Canada. So I kind of have been just going back to Canada every like 90 days and just getting my cheap meds and then like coming back. And I timed everything wrong. And so I ran out of my ADHD meds and ran out of my Ozempic. And so I was off of both of them for a stretch of time. And then I'm going back to Vancouver next weekend to get all my stuff. And so next time you see me, I'm going to be focused and skinny.
Wait, how much Ozempic have you done? Like, how long did you
I
do
only
it?
did one full pen of it, which was like maybe a month and a half, maybe 2 months.
And what did it do to you?
It just makes you not think about food ever and not hungry. It made me like a little bit nauseous, but not more than just anybody could. Like, I drink a lot of coffee on an empty stomach, so it's like kind of feels
I
like
love
that.
that you repost like literally 3 times a week the same meme on your Instagram stories.
3 coffees, no lunch.
And it's like a horse running. It's so funny.
3 coffees, no lunch. I'll never not repost. I am worried with this CBS job. I can't post as many like chaotic
No,
things
you can.
as usual.
I support that.
We'll see.
Wait, for the Ozempic, is it like a weekly shot?
Once a week.
You know, the gym bros I heard have been hip to Ozempic or tirzepatide for
Hip to it?
hip to
Now
it.
you sound like a mom. They're hip to it out there.
These young gym bros. No,
Turn the
but,
chair around. I'm like, let's rap. Let's rap about Ozempic.
but apparently they microdose it every day rather than like dose it out like once a week, and that's what they've been using to look like really shredded and stuff.
I'm so sick of microdose culture. Like, we're getting out of
Okay,
control.
so you don't want us to do drugs. You don't want us to do a little bit of drugs.
No.
What do you want? Because drugs are happening. No drugs is not the answer.
Okay, I want to know, like, the Ozempic, do you eat at all on it? Or can you not eat, or you just...
You do eat, but for me, I just felt like I wasn't thinking about food at all, and I wasn't hungry. And when I would start eating, I would feel full kind of right away. And so you don't have like the urge, like, you know, when you're like in a period when you have no sex drive and you just like don't yearn for sex. It's like that for hunger. You just don't yearn for it.
Right, I heard it, like, turns off food noise,
Yeah.
which is, like, which I have a ton of food noise where it's like, what am I going to eat next? How much?
Yeah,
Like,
what am I going to eat? What am I going to have? Should I order something? I should over order because I don't know which thing I'm going to like. And then you eat all of it.
yes.
Such a good feeling.
Wow, that
Heaven.
makes me feel good. Just hearing you say that.
Yeah, food stuff is hard. And food stuff is obviously hard for like women in our industry. And we get comments online and stuff, and we have, our moms made comments about our bodies. But I do think like both of you are very small. Like I think you're both like petite. And so is that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So are you. You're gorgeous.
Thank you. Just 3 petite girls.
Yeah. Wait, are you an only child?
Yeah. Could you tell right away?
No, I think I knew. I think
You can be honest if you could tell right away.
I swear I couldn't. By the way, I have an older half sister by 7 years, so I have all the bad qualities of an only child and a younger sibling.
Nice.
I'm selfish and annoying.
Ally.
I'm an ally. Wait, do you feel like you have only child qualities? And what is your opinion of being an only child?
I know everybody thinks it's weird and thinks that we're not good at sharing. And I would say that I had to learn to share, but I can share.
Prove it.
But you had to learn.
I did have to learn to share. Well, it's also like it was mostly just me and my mom. And my mom's like super, super sweet, super, super introverted. And so it was just kind of like we were both living like together, but parallel lives my whole life, where she was kind of in her own head doing she's like a painter, so she would go do her paintings. And then I would just kind of walk around on my own. And so if I wanted something, I would just take it. If there was food out, I knew that I could just have it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, if she had a shirt I liked, I could just wear it. Like, there was never a situation where I had to share growing up. And I think that that's something that you do learn in your formative years.
Yeah.
And so
I have the same thing.
you know what I still have that I'm trying to shake is like I love getting credit for something that I did. And so, like, if I buy my boyfriend a shirt and someone is like, "Oh, that's a cool shirt," I can't even stop myself. I'm like, I got that for him. I picked it out. I found it.
But why is that bad?
That's I can relate to that. I want all the credit for everything good that's going on in his life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like that's an only child quality, but maybe not. Are you an only child too?
No, I have a sister who I'm really, really close with. But then I've met siblings or people with siblings who don't know how to share. Because
really?
they were in a house where like they always had to fight for things. So they didn't like what was theirs, or you always had to ask permission because they had to fight for things that they wanted in their home.
I've heard from friends that like grew up with a lot of siblings that like they just expect like if they like brought food home and put it in their fridge, they would just expect that someone else would take it. Whereas I'm like, if something is mine, like it's there for me. But they're like, no, everything gets taken.
This was something I had to learn when in my 20s, and I got yelled at for because I thought the same thing. If something's in the fridge and there are leftovers, this must be communal food.
Oh.
Turns out I'm wrong, because that's how my sister and I always were. And that's how my family is. It's like what's like you and your mom. It's
I
like
feel like the boob grab thing and you having like a sister makes sense because it just feels like cool girl community.
community tits.
Like the community tits. Yeah, it feels like the island that Wonder Woman lived on, and they were all, I'm sure, squeezing each other's boobs together and eating each other's leftovers, and it wasn't a big deal.
I forgot about that island.
I never saw that movie.
What?
My boyfriend's really into superhero stuff, and so I like pretty actively try not to learn anything about it.
But then how did you know about the island?
I'm embarrassed that I knew it. Can we cut that out? Can we cut out that I knew something about Wonder Woman? Are you into superheroes?
No, but I mean, who didn't, like, what girl didn't cry at Wonder Woman? Am I alone here?
I didn't see it or cry at it.
No, that was
Khalyla?
pretty special. Yeah.
Okay.
I was definitely moved.
Okay, thank
And I
you.
like that island with, was it Robin Wright Penn?
Yes,
She
she's
looked
so
amazing.
pretty.
Can we pull her up? I'd like
She's
to have a look.
the prettiest woman ever. Have you guys been seeing this trend on TikTok that's like, I'm so impressed with the younger girlies because they'll be like, basically they share something embarrassing that they posted to impress their crush.
Oh my God, I
Yes.
love
that
this. I
trend.
remember when I lost my mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
they'll-
good.
They'll be like, oh, I heard he likes cooking. And so then there's like a video of them like, I love to cook. And they just look so
Yeah.
chaotic.
So when I think my first monologue I wrote for the show was about this trend.
Really?
Did you know that? Yeah.
I did not.
I love it. I think it's so funny because we all did like having a crush is so humiliating. Like you're so not yourself and you're trying to kind of, you see them post one thing and then you're like, make it your whole personality.
Yes.
It's so psychotic.
It's
and nobody's
sad.
going to pick you for that too. Like it's always something else that.
And that level of desperation when you're young, you'll never feel again as an adult. Like even that level of in loveness when you have a crush on a boy, like being an adult, it's like you can like a guy, but it's never going to feel that intense.
Are you avoidant attachment style?
I swing, apparently. It
Oh, you're a
depends.
swinger?
I'm a swinger.
Wow.
I think you swing too, right?
I think I do.
What are you right now?
I think right now I'm secure.
Right now, you're sober secure.
Yeah, sober secure. I
Yeah.
used to be anxious avoidant.
High.
Oh, is there highs and lows?
No, like high on drugs when you
Oh.
were high, when you were a drug user.
Wait, what's your attachment style?
I think I'm avoidant / secure. I've been with my boyfriend for a long time, and I think that it's when you've been together for a really long time, you kind of have to be secure. Or,
Yeah.
you hit that secure
Yeah.
stage, whether you want to or not. And I think it's more of like, I really just don't give up. Like,
But I would love to talk about desperation because Stella and I were talking about desperation stuff before, and I feel like anybody that lives in LA or New York you have to have kind of a desperate ambition to some degree to move here.
Yes.
But then you can't get any job if anybody smells a whiff of desperation
the
on you.
thirst, that's right. That's right. Thirst is such a turnoff.
It's such a turnoff in every degree, like doing shows. Like if somebody's at a show and you can tell they're really trying to network like another comic, it's just gross. Like you don't want to be friends with them.
Right.
But then obviously everybody had this strong push to move here. And so everybody has that. And then it's just like, who can be cool?
Yeah, I feel like you just have to kind of toe that line of like wanting it secretly, but strategizing so that you don't come off like you have nothing else going on. Like that is, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about how like the whole concept of being cool is so embarrassing, because it's like, to be cool, you sort of have to know that you're doing something, like to look good, you have to put strategy in, but like that's also inherently embarrassing. I don't know, the whole thing is freaking me out right now.
Yeah, even like wanting to look cool but not looking like you've tried too hard, that's its
Has to be
own
effortless.
psychosis too.
Yeah.
Psychosis.
It really is.
That's
It's like
the right word.
it's like the no makeup look. Right? It's like, I want to be disheveled, but you put that much effort into you know, the like Bobby, say for instance, his thing is like poverty porn, right? He wants to look poor, but he's not.
Oh yeah, rich people always want to look poor
Yeah.
because that's cooler than being rich.
Right. And they make fun of you people with, you know, the branded stuff, right? But still, it's like,
yeah, they're like new
the
rich,
logos.
nouveau
Right.
rich people.
But it's like, I don't know what's more embarrassing, the fact that you're trying to cosplay poverty or you trying to cosplay richness.
This is my problem. I think anything inauthentic is uncool. And so if you're trying to
Yes.
seem rich, if you're trying to seem poor, if you're trying to seem cool, if you're trying to seem nonchalant, if it's not true, that's what's off-putting.
Right.
That's very stand-up comedian of you. Like, it's got to be
We need
real.
authentic. We need authenticity.
It's so true.
But that's why I'm always like standing behind people that have like bad takes and stuff, because I'm like, I can tell that is what they think.
I love that. Yes. Wait, are there things that you guys have done, whether it's posted or not, like for a crush that's so embarrassing? Like, personally, I'm sure I've told you this before, Khalyla, but like when I was in high school, like found out my crush liked Lord of the Rings, and I bought all the DVDs, I bought all the books. Like, I just wanted to have them in my house so that I could like feel that I was into them, but I was not at all.
You're holding them and you're like, come on, come on. Be
did
more
you
interesting.
notice?
No, of course not. But
Did you end up is he their baby daddy?
No, but we did date, and I did for a part-time of the relationship in high school pretend that was a genuine interest.
And so did it work? Like, did pretending to like Lord of the Rings, was that your ticket? Was that you're in?
I think it's safe to say that it wasn't, but I think it was, the full strategy.
There is a strategy. I mean, I have definitely done some sneaky adjacent things like that. Like when I first started dating Bobby, like a long time ago in my 20s, I knew that he loved obscure music references, or he would be impressed by certain bands if like no one knew about it. So it was never on my playlist, but I found what I knew was like an obscure band from somewhere in probably Toronto or something like that. And I'm like, what? You've never heard of them? And I would play it for him. I'd never heard of them either up until the day prior. And just doing things like that because I just knew that he would be impressed by it somehow. But it was not true.
We
so
identify like the worst qualities in our crush, and we're like, me too. That's the thing that we have in common.
Yeah.
Because it's like being smug about finding underground music. It's like, I'm sure that's not what you liked about him.
No, he's definitely very smug about that. In fact, he would do things too that I eventually learned was so fake. Like he would pretend, he would fake Twitch. He would do these things and talk to himself because he wanted to seem like an eccentric artist. And I later found out that
He's faking epilepsy.
yeah, kind of.
Wait,
like, like the
faked?
over blinking and the talking to himself.
Okay,
That's
but then
fake?
you're like into him, but then you're like,
I did fall for it.
you fell for it. And so
Yeah.
that's why they do it. Like somebody at one point thought it was hot, and then they're like, okay, I'm going to do this forever. And then somebody else thinks it's hot. And then
Right.
that's now they have a reason why they're acting crazy.
Right. I'm like, he's so different.
He's twitching.
He's not
He's
like the other
twitching.
guys. He has epilepsy. I know that's crazy.
It's crazy.
And so you're like fake twitching too. You're like, me too. That's so crazy that both of us have that. I had one in high school. I had a big crush on my friend's big brother. I feel like friend's older brother is like, there's no poison like it.
That's so real. Yes.
And so she told me she didn't know I had a crush. I'm sure she knew I had a crush on him, but we didn't like talk about it. But she had told me that he was obsessed with the Transformers movie, like the Megan Fox Shia LaBeouf one.
dark.
Oh, that's a Nick.
It is, of course, it's a Nick. And
Present
so,
day ick, yeah.
Present day,
yeah. And so I did not watch the movie. That wasn't my strategy. I found a shirt that had a Transformers thing on it. And the only time him and I really saw each other was when I had gym class. He had maybe gym as well, but we would see each other outside. And so I wore this Transformers shirt for gym every day. I never washed it. It smelled so bad. And then I stopped wearing it at some point because I found out this other guy that I also sort of had a crush on started calling me Transformer Girl. And I'm like, I haven't even seen the movie. I'm working on something else right now. And then now I'm getting lumped into this whole other thing. And so, yeah, I didn't hook up with either of them. It was a bit of a flop of a project, unfortunately. I haven't thought about that in a long
You
time.
didn't take it to
but
the finish line.
What was the most painful rejection you ever went through when you were a teenager?
I mean, not to get it all into it, but I was absolutely dating like adult comedians when I was a teenager.
What?
And so that's not really in the spirit of a fun girl episode, but you know.
Tell us. No. I mean, it makes sense because you were in the comedy club so young and people probably thought.
Yeah,
you
so
know,
there were definitely situations where I was like, oh, we're soulmates, and then they were just kind of creeps. And so that always ends up, coming crashing down on you.
Esther, I have a confession to make.
Yeah.
So you once told me that you and Dave share a SKIMS T-shirt.
We do.
And I gotta say, you guys, this is a relationship builder to share a SKIMS T-shirt. My boyfriend loves all of my SKIMS T-shirts.
Wait, really? The boyfriend collection?
The boyfriend collection.
Okay, so the boyfriend collection definitely got me through pregnancy. Now that I'm postpartum, I'm wearing my new favorite collection, which is the soft, smoothing, seamless. And these are the best shirts. The fabric is so soft and buttery.
That's how I feel about all things SKIMS. It's number one for me in my life is comfort. And I feel like I don't have to give up the comfort to feel sexy.
Soft, smoothing, seamless t-shirt and long sleeve t-shirt. Those are what I've been wearing postpartum, where it's like, okay, it kind of is form fitting, but it doesn't feel tight somehow. And I've been wearing that, like, Dave and I had our first date night postpartum. I threw on my soft, smoothing, seamless, short sleeve black t-shirt, and it was the perfect thing to sort of like show off my body, but also be comfortable.
Right. Shop the SKIMS T-Shirt Shop at skims.com. Now available in sizes XXS to 4X. If you haven't yet, be sure to let them know we sent you. After you place your order, this is really important, you guys. Select podcast in the survey and select our show in the drop-down menu that follows.
Tell them that we sent you. You know what to do.
Please tell them that we sent you. SKIMS. Funny how when we're young, we kind of just don't see how terrible it is, like the age gap. Because I was convinced same 15, 16, I was dating guys like who were mid-20s, sometimes 30. And in my head, I had convinced myself that I was mature and that I wasn't like my friends.
They tell you you're mature too. And then now you know that it's like a tactic to be like, oh, I see you more adult than other people see you.
You're not like your friends.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we were exactly like our friends.
Of course. Yeah.
But actually, we were like our friends.
I know. Spoiler alert. Did you ever date an adult as a teenage girl?
I did not date an adult as a teenager.
Really?
No. Surprisingly, no.
How could that be?
How could you be here on this couch
We
today?
both did, so
how did
it's
I make
actually
it here
pretty common.
without that
Yeah.
happening? It is weird.
You know, it's so funny. My niece, I found out, was dating someone much older when her senior year of high school, and I thought that because I had experience with it, that I would be able to convince her, like, hey, this is a bad idea, and I could not. And I tried my best to be like, this is something you'll regret. That guy is absolutely not, like, he's not finding any girl who's interested in him, like within his own peer group. He can't even get a girl. That's why he's shooting for a high schooler.
Yeah.
But I thought I would be this like motherly savior, and she just continued to see him. I mean,
What
eventually,
ended up happening?
on her own, she got majorly like it. She woke up and she was like, "Oh wait, this is so not okay."
That's good though, and I think that you can be confident that you did chip away at it. Like I think that they do have to come to it on their own, and the more people that can say something and make a kind of uncool big deal about it, the better. Like it does add up.
You think so?
I think so.
I do think you're also right, because when I was dating someone that was not so great for me, I had a friend that was just like laying down the facts, like here's why. And I remember sitting there being like, yeah, but in my mind I was like, yeah, but I don't care. And then afterwards I was like, whoa, she was right.
Yeah, and then she was brave for making this awkward moment in your friendship because she saw something that you weren't seeing or weren't like ready to look at. And so the danger of it obviously is it's like you can jeopardize your relationship with your like younger cousin.
Yeah, she's my niece.
Your cousin, your niece or your friend or something. It's like it can create a short-term rift, but you know this person, like at some point, you know, they're smart. They'll probably figure it out on their own. Whatever the thing is that they need to accept it, they'll probably come to on their own. And then I think it'll strengthen your relationship after that because they'll be like, oh, this person was looking out for me and also didn't judge me for doing it. They just wanted to help me go in the right direction.
Yeah, that's so real. Wait, I want to go back to faking interests for guys.
Yeah.
Because I've thought about this a lot. And I almost want the guys like to comment or answer. Like, I always wonder, do they want a girl who's interested in what they're interested in? Or would they rather have the girl that's like into their girly own stuff?
I don't know, and this makes me really insecure.
Why?
Because the guy that I'm currently with, him and I share a lot of things. Like we both dive. We love the ocean, and he swears it's something that with that guy he's no longer in the picture. The Twitcher is gone. But he says that it's something that like he like fell in love with me. He's like, oh my God, I didn't know I could meet someone like you who shares these.
So that's great.
Yeah, but then I could foresee down the road him not liking that we have the same like interests, that maybe there should be like a separation.
Why do you foresee that?
Only because it's like in the beginning when you know your loins are hot blooded and you want to just like
you got hot loins.
You're like, wow, like he gets me, she gets me, but you know at some point I do think that the opposite, when someone is the opposite of you and they have their own thing going and there is that separation, like it builds more. I don't know. I can't really explain.
I think it do you, like you don't want to be codependent, obviously. Like you don't want to do absolutely everything together. You don't, but
Right.
But I think that liking a lot of the same stuff can only be good if it's real, and
Right.
it's like it is real for you guys.
Yeah.
Where it's like Lord of the Rings, Transformers.
Fake.
Not real, fake.
No.
And so I think if it's real, then it has to be good because it's like the reason you like these things is because you like swimming or you like, like those are activities that you'll be excited to do together.
Right.
I don't think that there's a way for that to turn out bad. I think like being codependent is bad when you can't do anything apart and you're too tied to each other's feelings. So like if one person is feeling upset, you have to do like I think that you have to be separate people and have enough stuff separately that's not your only, because I've definitely been in codependent relationships where it's like this person is just the center of your world,
Right.
and then if they're upset, you're upset, and you know that's not a healthy way to be.
Yeah.
But having the same interests is good.
I think so. What do you think, Esther?
I think that I know why you feel that way, and I'm like my own projection of it is that when you are dating someone who's an entertainer, you don't want to be two entertainers, and like maybe that's like from dating Bobby, like you were not the star in that relationship,
Right.
and like you could not be, and if you were, that would have been really harmful to the dynamic.
Right.
But like you guys both dive. Like, no offense to diving, but it's like I think that's like
There's no competition.
exactly. It's
And it's already
And no
established.
disrespect to diving as a creative art form.
And no
Yes.
disrespect to myself, but he is the star in the relationship.
Do you like that?
Interesting.
Do you not want to be the
No,
star?
I love when someone is like superior and better than me at something.
Sexually.
Yes, I want him to be so much better. If we're on the same level, like kind of like.
Because you want to feel like he's like
teach me things. Like I
Teach
want to
me
be like,
things.
save me, rescue me, teach me, tell me how it's done.
I love
That is so
too.
cute.
Yeah.
Do you like that?
No, I don't like to learn. I don't want to teach or learn. I'm in a knowledge-free relationship. We're going sober for knowledge. Neither of us know even one thing, and we do not yearn to.
I came across this TikTok of this girl who was like, I like who I am, but I find she's talking about like being boring, and she was like, I never really acquired a hobby, something like I'm truly like genuinely interested in.
This is like all of Gen Z, which I respect them so much. They're just, everyone's coming out as like having no hobbies and interests, and I love it. I've been waiting for this moment. My whole life I've always been like, what do people do in their free time if they don't need something from Target? Like that's the only thing I know as my culture, as my activity. And so I'm just so grateful that that's becoming a mainstream acceptable thing to share. But sorry, continue on.
But you're not that girl, because you have a background in dance. There's a lot of things
little
about you
dancer?
that are
Yeah, wait, didn't you dance?
No, I
Am I
don't
making
dance.
that up? Oh, I'm just trying to get you to dance. Yes, those things are true, but that I have always struggled with like, okay, let's say it's the end of the day and you just did all the things you need to do, whatever, and then I'm like, now what? You know what I mean? Like, dance class is a different thing to me, and yes, now it's maybe more that like love and hobby, but I just feel like there's people that like they sit down at the end of the day and they crochet I don't know. There's like something. There's there.
I have both friends. I have a friend that has extremely regimented hobbies, does crochet, does pottery, does origami, does
Oh, wow.
does hobbies, like with a capital H. And I have a friend where we've actually had issues because I was asking her like what's going on in her life, and then she took it really personally because she'd never had hobbies and it was something that she felt insecure about. And so I understand both people, and I still think that we're all just the same. Like, I think that if you don't have an active hobby that you're doing, then you're doing imagination, or you're thinking about stuff. Like,
spoken like a true only child. You're doing imagination,
and that's a game. And it's a game you can play by yourself.
No one played with me, so I invented a lot of card games.
You? Or are you making fun of me?
No, me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I love card games.
Yeah,
too.
like-
my parents were divorced, obviously, and my mom and I lived in Ottawa, and my dad lived in Vancouver, which is like a 5 or 6 hour flight. And since I was 3
wow.
years old, they would put me on planes by myself, back and forth, like to go see them because they weren't going to come with me. And I used to bring cards on the plane with me, and I would make whoever was sitting next to me play cards with me. Aww. And I remember sometimes they would pretend to sleep, and I'd wake them up, and I'd be like, "It's your turn."
Like, that's so cute.
And would you have the pass when you would have to fly?
Unaccompanied minor. I'd take it off though. It's kind of lame.
You're
Get,
like, I'm a
big
grown up.
green thing. And then there was a point where they started giving you hats that said UM on it, and I've never been able to write a joke about it, but it is really like, okay, human traffic me. Like, nobody's watching me. Big green hat that says unaccompanied. Like,
But I feel as though don't they like cater to you and are sweeter with you? Like, what's the deal? Or is that just something I made up
I
in my
don't remember
head?
that. Like, maybe they were. Maybe there was always someone watching me, but it did not feel like it.
You're just like Target.
I felt unsupervised, and I definitely was not fully being watched, because there were several times that I would land in Vancouver and my dad wouldn't be there yet, and this was like before cell phones, and I would just be at the airport alone, and I wasn't like sitting with an employee or anything. I was just walking around the airport.
Wait, this is crazy. How do you feel like this is do you feel extremely independent because of that?
Yes, I do feel very independent.
Wow. I'm impressed by that.
And trauma, it has its upsides.
I never felt scared though.
Yeah,
Like I
that's
don't
cool.
remember
Yeah.
feeling scared, and there's a chance that it's just I'm unaware of my surroundings. But because my mom is so quiet, and because I was the only child, I was on my own. And then I'd go to my dad's, and then I'd be, he had stuff to do, and so I was on my own. Like I always just felt like it was natural for me to be alone in the world. I never felt nervous, and I think that it does build confidence. Like I think
for
that I
sure.
think that stuff builds confidence when there's not even a danger that you think about.
Right.
The best things that I did for myself when I was younger was, I remember I was talking to the middle school social worker because I was going through a breakup and was taking advantage of the free resources we had at our fingertips.
Hey, middle school?
Yes.
So cute.
And I remember I was sharing with her that she was like, so what's like, how therapists try to get to what's the real fear behind the fear, whatever. And I was sharing about how, well, if I don't have a boyfriend, like, what if I have to sit alone to eat or something like that? And she was like, so what? And then she like built this whole thing in my mind of like, it's actually cool to go do things alone. And because of that, like I was so confident from then forward. I would go to movies by myself. I would go like sit to eat by myself. And I do feel like then I would hear of people who are scared of that. And I felt so empowered. Like that.
Wow.
I feel
Wait,
so good having dinner by myself and going to movies by myself. I love doing that.
This is incredible because I literally just learned how to do this last year.
What?
Really?
I could not even sleep alone in my own bed or in my own
Khalyla.
house. I swear, when Bobby would go on the road, I would have my sister or my mom come over, or I would stay up the whole night until I could see the sunlight peek through, and then I could go to bed.
Really?
I was
What?
terrified. Yeah, I'm terrified of like the dark, monsters. Like this is like
Okay, the dark objectively scary.
scary. Yeah,
There
thank
is
you.
nothing to be ashamed of the dark. Everyone's like, "Oh, what are you scared of the dark?" It's like, yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Do you know the dark?
Wait, but this whole thing of like eating alone, enjoying yourself alone, like
That's in
some-
light. That's daytime.
That I have never learned to. I didn't learn to do that until like last year, where I was like, oh, this is quite nice.
It's such an
It's really
underrated life
nice.
skill. It is so like that changes the game. And I do know that it works a little bit against like what we're all discovering now. You need community and friendship, but I also think there's room for just having the confidence to be alone, be in public alone, like have a group of people see you sitting there by yourself, like live in that. And it's just, it feels so good.
When I see a woman having dinner alone, I'm obsessed with her. That's my muse. That's my
Yes.
angel.
no, but that's my drug now. Is having dinner or lunch alone is something that like I've just newly stumbled upon, and I think it's like, oh my god, this is so fucking great. How did I miss out on an entire lifetime of always thinking I needed to eat with someone or have someone there? And it's so intoxicating. Being alone is scarily intoxicating for me now.
Yeah, once you get too used to it, it is hard to go back.
Well, this is the problem, of course. And it's like, I think that a lot of, especially Gen Z, we were talking about earlier, obviously, so much of their formative social years were COVID. And so everybody has kind of substituted hangout in-person time with online time,
Right.
which our brains tell us is so good because it's like all built to make our brains feel good with notifications and messages and a sound or whatever. But it's actually good for our brains to be in rooms with other people. And so, yes, like, we should promote being alone and being comfortable and stuff, but it's also so important to be in a room with other people as much as you can.
Yeah, no, I know.
Is Gen Z just as physically affectionate with each other?
I don't think so. They're not having sex with each other. And I think that it's because a big part of it is porn, because they all
Right.
have been watching porn since they were born. No offense to your daughter.
They're
Who's a little porn
desensitized.
addict. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's the mix of like COVID, they don't see each other in person. They don't do drugs. And so for us, we're getting drunk, we're hooking up with each other.
Yeah, we're grabbing
And
each
porn.
other's titties, right?
Exactly.
Like yeah.
And so they're not hanging out with each other in person, drinking, doing drugs, and they don't have social skills because they did
This is
Zoom high
very-
school.
This is very Professor Scott Galloway. He
I
really
love Scott Galloway.
He really believes.
I love Scott
him.
Galloway.
We have such a crush on
Yeah,
him.
we do.
Collectively.
He's our daddy
Has he
crush.
been on
No,
this?
we need Scott. Come on our show.
Do you know
But he's-
Gabor Mate?
Of course, I love him.
Oh my
He's
God.
taught me everything I know about myself.
Wow.
I know, it's really-
Canadian.
He is, yeah.
Whoa. Hello. You're getting
Does
a phone
everybody
call?
do that?
But it's Professor Scott Galloway who was like, I know it sounds terrible to say, but there is something to be said about learning how to properly socialize, learning how to properly drink amongst friends, especially
Yes.
for like young men. I
Yes.
was like, oh, that's so interesting. What a hot take.
I just listened to his predictions for next year. Every year he puts out like a big batch of predictions, and his prediction that was going to have the biggest impact on America, more than AI, more than like Bitcoin, more than war, is Ozempic, because people that take Ozempic become sort of cured of any addiction. Like, people are giving people Ozempic and they're gambling less, they're smoking less, like they're using their smartphones less. And
Does it just take the compulsion out?
it might cure addiction. And it's
Wow.
like, it obviously hasn't been fully tested for that or anything, but that's like the biggest trend that he's noticing. And he put that as his number one biggest impact on America for the next year.
Wow.
Okay, this is so complicated for me because obviously I hear that. I'm so jealous. I'm like, I want to be on Ozempic too. Like, I don't want to be looking at my phone, but then I'm obviously I can't just use Ozempic for that because like I don't want to do that. But it is crazy to think there's like this miracle drug. I mean, did you experience like looking at your phone less?
I think so.
What did you do with the free time?
Well, that's the thing, and that's why and this is also, it's not been studied. Like, stuff hasn't come out. This is just this guy that seems really on top of stuff, and his
He's daddy.
instincts.
Yeah, he's our daddy.
He's
he
daddy.
does get things wrong though too.
Of course,
Yes.
of course, and that's a big part of being a predictor. Is like, you get stuff right, you get stuff wrong. The stuff you get wrong, everybody makes fun of you forever and brings it up, and the stuff you get right, you get to feel good. But this one does feel like it makes sense to me. And it's like, I don't think everybody should go on Ozempic or anything. I just think that it makes sense why it's kind of this big, impactful thing, because we're so addicted to, I mean, everything that we're addicted to, but food specifically. If you're not thinking about food all day, you're not ordering food all day, that's also extra money that you end up having. Like people talk about how expensive Ozempic is, but I found that it paid for itself and more some, because I'm buying, especially if I'm on the road, I'm doing Uber Eats every weekend several times.
Yes.
And I just wasn't doing that. I was like eating the protein bars that I threw in the bottom of my backpack. And so I would wake up, and then I would have like the shitty little hotel coffee, and then several hours would go by, and then it's like almost
coffee.
I drink hotel coffee.
Wow, that's
Too nasty for you.
Oh, you're a nasty
Too
girl.
nasty. You're not gonna match my freak. Not gonna match my nasty. Do you drink hotel coffee?
I don't drink coffee at all.
You don't? Or do you drink coffee at all?
I was like the biggest lover. It was my number one relationship, and then now I don't drink it.
Wait, why again,
pregnancy?
Esther?
Because it's like so. I think a little bit of like the postpartum anxiety, and then also just I don't want to be dependent on it and like have the energy crash. And then also it's like when you're taking care of a baby, like it's actually logistically kind of, at least for the first like month or so, it was really too complicated to like get to the kitchen to make a coffee. So I just was like, I'm going to go off of it. And I don't know, I went so many years without it, and then again it became my primary relationship in my life.
It's my number one vice, easily, caffeine.
No, that's why I love your Instagram stories about it. Like I'm with you, I swear.
It's who I am.
Like, does it upset you to hear that I've quit? Because I would be upset when I heard people quit coffee. I was like, how could you do that? I felt like I was being broken up with.
I'm not upset because you just had a baby. I
Okay.
support women.
You're giving
in
me
their
this
journeys.
time.
Yeah, but then obviously come back to us.
Okay.
When you're ready. When your daughter, goes to university or whatever,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
have the time.
Yeah, in 18 years.
You have time to make it to the kitchen.
I kind of miss being a slave to something. I mean, I'm sure I am and other things, but like coffee, not even green tea. Like I am just so I hate the feeling of having to rely on anything. And it's a control issue for sure. But I don't like, even with medication, like I can't take Tylenol more than like and I probably need it, but I'd be like, no, I won't take it because I don't like the feeling of needing something too much.
Interesting.
Or relying on something too much. Like I feel like there's something hovering that has power over me, and I'm terrified of that.
Are you afraid that like any minute you'll be like stranded on a desert island and won't have it? So you're just trying to prepare for like.
If I was stranded on a desert island, I would be so grumpy because I couldn't have coffee. I would be in a foul mood.
I know this about you. You are a big fan of Survivor.
Yes, I love Survivor.
And what would you do on an island without your coffee?
I would be in such a mood. I would starve, and I'd be glad that I'm starving to death because without coffee, I'm not myself.
You'd have to get to heaven to get your next coffee.
Yay.
Or the upside is that you nap a lot and then you just sleep through your starvation.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah, I
just
would pass
conserve
out.
your energy.
I'm interested in this power dynamic you have with caffeine. How you don't want to be, because I have no problem being addicted to caffeine, and I don't really have an addictive personality with anything else. And I've dabbled in all these drugs. I'm, all this stuff, but I don't feel. The only thing I feel is, especially now with this job, like waking up really early, I need like coffee right away because all of the monologue is written in the first hour. Like I get in at 8. And then they send me a research packet, and I pick like which stories I want to do, and then I have an hour to do it.
Wait, that's like an intense job.
Yeah.
And for a stand-up comedian, like starting at 8 a.m.
We start at 8:30, but it's I have to be there at 8 so
I'm
that I can get.
impressed.
Thank you.
That's huge.
And I'm a big sleeper too. Like I will sleep if I don't set an alarm. I'll sleep till 3 p.m. But this having power over, like, because for me, I'm like, if something helps me, great. If it has power over me, no problem.
I overdid it. I was drinking 6 ventis a day. I wouldn't get off
You
the couch.
were?
Oh my God, like insane amounts.
I don't know
of
this
coffee.
version of her.
Yeah, no, I was a big like coffee.
Have you
freak.
guys met before? I feel like you're learning a lot about each other
This happens
today.
every day with her.
You're
Like, she's a new
she
person.
surprises you every day.
Yeah, that's why how it
You keep her
stays so
so
fresh.
fresh.
It's really sad. No, but I used to drink. I would not do a single thing, not lift a finger until I had a coffee in hand. But then it got to a point where I had this like weird heart arrhythmia like 8 years ago. And then on top of that, I got really, really bad anxiety that I was so desperate to not live in a state of anxiety. So I eliminated everything, and coffee was one of them. And it was brutal. I had headaches for a straight month because I was having caffeine withdrawals, and it was so painful. And I still love the smell of coffee. I ask everybody I see with a coffee to just let me take a big inhale. Like I miss it. Obviously, I love coffee culture. I just can't have it. I get too anxious.
Wait, were you drinking like straight black ventis, or what did you drink?
No, I always drank lattes. Always
Regular
with
milk?
half and half. No, half
With
and half.
half and half?
It's just like 10 years ago.
That's
yeah.
so thick.
I know.
What?
Loved it.
That's so thick.
Half and half as milk? Is this
Yeah.
common? Is this an American
No,
thing?
it wasn't like it was maybe not quite a latte. It would be like get it black iced and then add the half and half after.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm shocked by the amount of dairy you consume.
She's worried for
I'm
you.
actually one of the few Asians I know that is not
Like,
lactose
yes,
intolerant.
totally.
I've never been intolerant to dairy or anything like that. Like and
That's actually a huge flex.
but I can't eat tomatoes. I can't eat nightshades. It makes me shit
can't?
blood. Yeah, but
nightshades?
like eggplant, tomatoes. I can't eat any of that. I will literally shit blood, but for some reason I'm like metal clad when it comes to dairy. Ironclad guts when it comes to dairy. It's so weird. And everyone
Wow.
around me is just like farting their life away when they have an ice cream and I'm like, "No, I'm good."
Something
I know, but then they
wrong.
show you a tomato, and you're like, "Oh no, all my."
You have to hide.
Do you? What upsets your stomach?
You know what? I have a really strong stomach. Nothing upsets my stomach.
Nothing?
Like I obviously have a lifelong history of like eating way too much, and that gives me a stomach ache. But I can eat anything, and I think that's why pregnancy challenged my identity so much, because I couldn't have tomato sauce. There's so many things that I wasn't able to have.
Because of the like acid reflux.
Yeah, and I'm so entitled to just being able to stuff my face with like, give me battery acid. Like I could just eat anything. I'm so strong stomached, and
I have wanted to ask you about pregnancy.
Really?
Because you did some interview about how you were like you had put off having kids because you were worried you were going to lose part of your identity or part of your career, and that I think you might have credited Trisha Paytas as like
Motherhood
like, oh, she
goals.
can do it, so we're the same.
Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
But how do you feel like it's affected comedy? Like, were you doing the road full time, or were you doing more acting stuff?
I wasn't doing the road full time, but I was doing it a bit. Like, especially, I'm trying to think. I think basically, like, I was sort of like touring on and off, like May of last year all the way till January, February of this year, but very on and off, which I loved it. I was having a really good time with it. I have completely lost my identity and I'm thrilled about it.
Okay.
It's crazy. Like, I do remember I was really nervous about that. And it's maybe I like subconsciously knew it was coming or something, but it's a journey. Like, the way I feel now is I feel very attached to my baby, and I want to be a mom, and I don't have a lot to say on the stage. I don't know. It's really weird.
It's a new chapter.
It is a new chapter, and maybe that'll change. And I just don't know.
We can't be scared of new chapters.
Yes. Yeah. I'm curious, like, how does that, I just want to know, like, is that crazy to you guys? Like, do you want kids? Like, do you fear that identity shift?
I think I fear career things. Like, I feel that I do want a kid, but this is really bad to say, and I think that people have gotten in trouble for saying this online, but I really would only want a daughter because I really liked what me and my mom had.
Yeah.
I've never seen a mother-son relationship that I'm like, oh, I would love to have something like that. Like, I've never seen a mother-son relationship that I'm trying to get in on.
I also, by the way, like boy mom culture, or when people are really proud of being
Boy
like,
moms just gross me out. They really make me feel sick.
It's scary.
Yeah.
Like, especially there's this one woman on TikTok. She got dragged, obviously.
This is maybe what I'm thinking of.
Right, but she's like, I love my
She's
daughter,
like, my daughter's great, yada, yada.
but my
son,
Yeah.
son.
Ew.
very like Oedipus complex, very creepy. Like, I have a cousin who, oh my God, like she still posts on Facebook how she feels. It's just like very, very like she's a fucking dinosaur about it. But she talks about like, God bless the girl who's gonna come in and try to marry my son.
Oh,
Like,
no.
very toxic mother-in-law vibes.
Oh,
By the way, her
no.
son is like 9 years old.
I did not expect that.
9.
I did not expect
And
that.
she thinks she's being so cool about it. Like, she's just gonna hate whoever girl comes in between her and her son. And I find it so creepy. It's like the point to raise a child and a boy is for them to not need you anymore.
Yes.
It's to them to fly off.
And then,
fly
but
off
that's
the
sad
nest.
too. That's even
It
if
is
you do
sad.
that perfectly, then you're like, oh, you poured your heart into this person, and then
Right.
now they're just gone. But it's like, of course, that's the right thing to do.
That's how I view parenthood. I view parenthood as this like sacrificial experience of like, I'm going to try my best to guide this human so that they don't need me anymore.
Okay, I have things to say. I have some responses here.
yes.
I know it hurts. It hurts me even to say that.
It is
but-
not sacrificial. It is like the best thing ever.
Okay.
And there is no sacrifice involved.
Okay.
Like, this was a big thing because before I was like, I was not into babies. I was like, oh my God, you guys, like, moms have to like change their babies' diapers. And now when I'm changing a diaper, I'm like, this is my honor. Thank you. Let me serve you. I love you so much. Thank you. And also to the boy mom thing, like, because I viewed all babies like that. I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to, But once you have your baby, and it's just the same for once they have their little boys or you have your baby, like, you're just on the other side of that, and you wouldn't connect to it anymore.
Yeah.
Once you have your boy or your baby, you're like, I don't know what the fuck was I saying before. I was
Right.
clueless, but I know what you mean. And like, you can't deny wanting a daughter.
I think I loved what my mom and I had.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I could do what we did. I could put my baby on a plane alone, and she would love it, and she would go wait at some
But
airport.
there is a fear about that, though, about having a daughter, even though I kind of am with you. When the few times that I did imagine like being a mom, the fantasy was always with a little girl. I never considered even like I never had an image of my mom in my mind about being a mother to a boy.
Really?
But then Whitney Cummings came on the podcast and she was like, well, maybe this is like, she found out she had a boy. And I think at some point she wanted a girl too, but she was like, maybe this is a good thing so I don't like project my girl wounds like onto like another
It's true,
girl.
and I'm sure as soon as you get pregnant, as soon as you have your baby, as soon as you make that choice, yes, of course, whatever baby you have is going to be your life.
Right.
It's just
Yeah.
right now.
Yes.
With full objectivity, with full caffeine.
Full evening caffeine.
So this article, I don't know what it's called. I think it's like the heartbreak of having boys, but she explains the eventual heartbreak of your sons never coming back home because she says like, when they meet their own families, they usually get absorbed into that family. And no matter how traumatic of a childhood I had with my mother, I'm always going to run back to her. Like there is no leaving my mom.
Mm-hmm.
I
What do you think?
I know that there is something to that, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't know, like, because for us growing up, we always went to my mom's side of the family, but that's also because my dad's side of the family was dead. So
We couldn't visit them.
no, we didn't go to the cemetery. It was in a bad neighborhood. But I also see a lot of men who are very close to their moms, and I don't think it's always like that, is what I'm trying to say. But I understand that take. I don't know.
I'm trying to, yeah, but I do see how like there is a security in having a daughter.
Yes, but also there's a security in opposite gender because for me, like when I think about how close I am with my dad, like that's such a bond. And I know that there's a certain kind of bond that you have with each parent and it's different. I don't know, but I'm with you guys. I have no idea what it would be like to have a boy.
And also I will say I have a great relationship. I've been with my boyfriend for 8 years. He has a nephew that he's very, very close with who's like the only kid of that. My boyfriend has 2 sisters. There's just one guy. He's the baby, right?
Yeah.
And he's a teenager now, 16-ish. Him and I have such a great relationship. We have so much fun together. He loves thrift shopping. He's like, we like the same music, and we have an amazing I feel that I have a better relationship with my boyfriend's nephew than everybody in the past that I've ever dated has had with their mother.
Oh, that's cute. That's hopeful.
And if we texted him and we're like, hey, do you feel like we have a really cool relationship? He would not answer. I'm sure of that.
I want the boy moms to like comment in and tell us.
I do not come for me. I've had people come for me before.
You have for this take?
Not for this take.
Okay.
I think that there's boy mom and then there's like the toxic boy moms. Those are very different.
No.
We don't put them near each other. But yeah.
My sister has one of each, and she's, we were just me and her, 2 girls, and close to our mom, and so she loves having a boy, and so to me that's like, okay, if you have a boy, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, my one of my close friends, she has 3 boys, 1 girl. She says the same thing. She's like, dude, boys are so much fun. She's like, girls are fun, boys are fun, they're all fun. So I'm like, okay.
Okay, I'm walking away from this being more open to little boys.
We're being like toxic positivity about boy moms.
I know, because you see those gender reveals where the dad has an absolute breakdown when it's not a boy. Have you seen those?
He's
I
crazy.
do
That
not
makes me
like
so
that.
sad.
I do not
It
like
makes
that,
me
and
so
I don't want to be
sad.
like that. I don't want to be the female equivalent of that of a dad. Because when you see a guy freak out when he finds out it's a girl, you're like, ew, what does this guy think about women?
Exactly.
And I feel that I have a very healed relationship with men at this point in my life, and so now I'm having to reflect on.
No, I know what you want, the bond that you have with your mom. Don't stride away from, like, that's very valid and real, and I like that, and I feel that too. Men who are disappointed that it's a girl, you guys are wrong. It's like no one is going to love a man the way a girl loves her dad. Like they're so stupid for not knowing. Oh, they don't know, but it makes me mad.
I know, but it
Like,
just
you guys
comes
are
off
lucky
so
now.
like, just like you said, it's like, what do they think of girls? Just to be sorely disappointed that you're having a girl. It's like, what do you think of girls then? It's so sad.
I know.
Did you do a gender reveal party?
No,
Did you start a forest fire? You can tell me.
That was
It's just us here.
No. So I had a miscarriage 3 years ago. And because of that, for some reason, this is crazy. This pregnancy that I just had, I didn't think about gender literally for 1 second until I got the call. And it was so, I'm like, I can't believe it, but I think just because I was so afraid of losing the pregnancy. And so when she said, like when I was on the phone and she said, it's a girl, I was like, I mean, I'm not going to lie, it was the best moment of my life. I'm not going to lie. It was also I was like, oh my God. Yeah, of course. It's like, but yeah.
You were more excited to do like a live reveal than a gender reveal.
Yes, exactly.
I think that's maybe what people should do instead. I think
but
that's
there's
better.
nothing wrong with like, I know the first time I was pregnant, I was like wanting it to be a girl. And then it was a nothing. And I was like, okay, next time I'll take whatever.
Yeah, either one.
Yeah. We have to wrap it up, which is so sad. Sophie, I hope you come back on the show. You definitely...
I'll come back every day.
You fit in here a little too
Yay!
well for your own good.
Thank you.
Where can people find you? Are you going to be touring again soon?
Yeah, I've decided to not cancel very many of my stand-up dates.
Really?
Yes, because I can do anything.
Yes.
Because of caffeine. So, yeah, I'll be on the road a lot. When does this come out? A week or two? Or
Next
many?
week?
Next week. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm opening for Taylor Tomlinson on the road quite a bit. And then I'm headlining in Nashville in 2 weeks. I have tons, pretty much every weekend I'm on the road. I'm going to
Whoa.
lots of different cities. Well, I had a full stand-up calendar. This job came at me very fast.
Oh my
And I had a
gosh.
full stand-up calendar. And I think that lack of desperation is what was able to make it happen, was because I had all this other stuff planned. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll just have fun with this submission. And then when it rains, it pours. So now I have lots going on. But
Well,
yeah,
you're so funny, and I think it will always be pouring for you. So
you're so funny.
No,
Thank
like,
you. You're so sweet.
I need to come see your hour because, dude, if you haven't seen her live, she's so funny. There's no one like her. When you opened for me in December, everyone was talking about you, asking
That
about
is
you.
so sweet of you to say.
Yes,
Thank you.
You are so funny. Where can people get tickets to see you?
My Instagram is Sophie Buds, and the link tree has all of my dates and ticket stuff. I have a tour poster on my Instagram too that has all my future upcoming dates. I have an email list in my link tree as well. So if you put your city in, I will email you.
Do you bring the banana on stage? It really it's like fitting for you.
It feels so right in my hands. Do you guys do this with every episode?
Yeah. Can I have both of yours?
Yes.
Thank you.
Khalyla is having
been-
money problems.
Yeah. Please. I need all the bananas I can get. Thank you.
You guys, thank you so much for listening. And as always, we will see you next week with a brand new episode. And also, boy moms, come through, comment, and tell us how amazing it is.
Don't come for me.
And
I'm not interested. I'm not going to learn. I'm not going to change my ways.
See you guys. Thank you.